Welcome back, lacrosse fans and friends. Today, World Lacrosse is welcoming South Africa as our newest national governing body, making South Africa the fourth member nation on the continent of Africa. And earlier this year, first Uganda, then Kenya, were elevated to full member status in World Lacrosse's rapidly growing federation. Drawing inspiration from the work the South African Lacrosse Project has done and his own personal ties to his birth country, Chris Bougie launched the South African Lacrosse Association. We are honored that he has made time today to talk to us a little more about the South African Lacrosse Association.
Thank you. It's been quite a ride, quite a journey to get everything in order to get to this point, but I'm really glad to take South Africa Lacrosse to this step, and I can't wait for what's to come.
So we need to talk about that. What is to come? How does it feel right now for you, knowing that South Africa is now a member body?
I mean, honestly, it means a lot. I think, there's been a lot of work that went into kind of deciding, where we were going to get the personnel to make the board of director requirements. That turned out to be the easiest part, based on, my dad's, intricate experience in the South African hockey scene down there. And I think, getting me in contact with a few key players in that sort of sports space was really awesome and a really good way to kick it off.
The South African Lacrosse Project was in existence in South Africa. So talk to me about the ways that you'd like to take that and continue to develop on that.
Yeah, I mean, kind of starting in 2007, hope I have all my dates right, but Barbara Cox and her two sons, Kip and Harrison Hart, I got a chance to speak with them a little bit kind of before this whole process started, and just to see what they were able to do with lacrosse in South Africa. Started out as a small couple clinics, ended up being a 10-year run where they, kind of got to share lacrosse with over 2,000 kids in South Africa. So what I want to do is kind of take the minor experience that lacrosse has had in South Africa and make it into, something that can develop from that and something that can be sustainable, for everybody to be involved in as well.
This is a very obviously tremendous day, but as you look forward, what are your goals for South Africa lacrosse?
I mean, our goals are quite simple: get as many kids as possible to start playing lacrosse. I think any way we can do that is a win for us, whether that's partnering with charities like the Boys and Girls Club of South Africa in Johannesburg. That's going to be one of our first stops to getting some sticks and hands down there, or developing on where we've already seen lacrosse have some success, which is the northern part of South Africa and the Limpopo province. There's been quite a lot of lacrosse going on there since the South African Lacrosse Project. That's where they kind of originated it. So just bolstering those programs, and hopefully in the next decade be able to represent the country on a world championship stage. I think if we lay the groundwork now in an orderly fashion and make sure it's done right, I think that's something that we can surely do.
So in the northern part of South Africa, pretty prominent lacrosse programs. What is the state of play in the rest of South Africa right now?
It's quite non-existent, I guess, everywhere else. I think there's a lot of people scattered throughout the country that have had experience with lacrosse. My one board member, Charlie de la Pasture, as an example, our director of finance, he actually played and grew up and played lacrosse in the UK. So there's a lot of people like that where, they played in another country and just happened to live in South Africa or grow up a bit there. So it's definitely going to be interesting to try and find these people. But I think now with this announcement, some more people will start to come out of the weeds and we'll maybe have some faster growth than anticipated.
You touched upon this earlier about using contacts that your dad, put you in contact with. How has his experience and your experience, having been born there, shaped your approach in developing this sport in South Africa?
Honestly, I think it just comes down to, not being afraid to share, something that we love with people that don't exactly know what it is yet. So, I mean, I clearly have a passion for lacrosse, as my dad had a passion for hockey, and I think he moved down there. My mom is born and lived there her whole life, so he ended up moving down there, to start a family. And she was not aware of what hockey was. It started with kind of explaining it to her, and ended up being something that he embarked on a nice journey down there for. And I think for me, especially, just being able to take, my lacrosse experience and take lacrosse as a whole and try and bring it down there and share it with people. That's just something that I'm passionate about, and I really look forward to doing.
Chris, you talk about lacrosse very fondly and how it can really foster character building, but you've also discussed it being really a vehicle for inclusivity. How do you see lacrosse doing that in South Africa?
Well, I think when you look at South Africa from a sporting perspective, it's easy to think about sports like soccer, cricket, and rugby. And those sports have had a tremendous, impact on the community in a positive way as of late. But, it was rooted in some sort of systematic, had some diversity challenges within that system when they started. So I think just keeping that in mind and not wanting to fall into that pattern, and keeping things in perspective of where the world is going and where South Africa has gone with regards to racial diversity, socioeconomic diversity. I think lacrosse is really a sport for everybody, and we're determined to keep it that way.
Do we see South Africa at the next World Championships or in 5 or 10 years? Talk to me about that.
For me personally, I want to see it happen, but from really looking at how we're able to scale the sport down there, I think if we want to do everything the right way. And I think, conservatively speaking, I think it shouldn't really be an issue. I think in 5 to 10 years to be a part of those world championship teams. I think once we've been, since now we've been, welcome to the World Lacrosse family. I think there's a lot of good opportunities that are going to come our way, and I think we're going to have this, great opportunity to start really building a good grassroots program, starting as soon as we can. And I think from there, it's all time will tell.
If I am a player in the US or wherever for that matter, or I'm a fan of your program, the way you've been playing in the NLL, and I want to donate some time, energy, how do I get connected?
At Boosh_18 for my Twitter, and then at Chris Bushy. GoFundMe link is in my bio. And if you have any, possible will to want to help, or know anybody that wants to get involved somehow, I'm all ears. And with regards to our website, will be launched quite soon, within the next week or two. And then from there, we're just going to start scaling our social media, hopefully get some traction in the next month.